Hi, Rosa Project Trans. I'm going to talk about stress and the Rosa Project dogs and why they end up the way they are. What is stress? Stress is a challenge to the status quo. It's something unexpected that causes us to release chemicals in our brain that prepare us for fight or flight. You're all familiar with this. The sympathetic nervous system goes into overdrive. In a healthy individual, that resets pretty quickly and we go on with our lives. Well, these Spanish dogs, particularly the Rosa Project dogs, are bred for hypervigilance. They're bred to be in a fight or flight mode almost all the time because it makes them really great hunters. And then they're kept in terrible management situations where they live in isolation, often on short chains, tied to a stone wall, generation after generation. Puppies are born to bitches on a short chain in a dark place. So they're prenatal, their postnatal, their adolescent, and their adult development are all very abnormal. Their brains literally are physically different from the brain of a puppy that is born in a nurturing environment, gets a lot of interaction with other puppies, with other peers of the same age, with loving humans, with different social environments, gets indoors, outdoors, gets touched, gets handled. None of that happens to these dogs. So their brains, the part of their brain, the back of our brain, our amygdala and hippocampus are the things at the back of our brain, and then our prefrontal cortex in the front of our brain all interact in a really complicated way to maintain our safety. And we maintain our safety by our emotional responses and our physical responses to stress. These dogs are in chronic stress almost their entire lives without the benefit of social, emotional, or physical support. Their brains actually develop abnormally. So what would be a not very large threat to a healthy individual is evaluated abnormally by these dogs. They have abnormal threat assessment. They see danger where there is no danger, and they have no sense of safety in their environment. So their brains chemically and physically change. This can also be affected from generation to generation. There actually are genetic and epigenetic, which are some carbon changes that happen in your DNA structure that are passed from mother to pup, from father to pup, and then can go from generation to generation. So actually change their genetic influence on behavior, which also contributes to their abnormal threat assessment and their fearful behavior. So what happens when you take them out of their Spanish environment, you bring them into the big old world? Well, they really decompensate because they have no coping skills. So what I wanted to talk to you, or just point out about stress and how it has a negative effect on these dogs, is that it is irreversible to a certain extent. The brain never stops growing. Even in our adulthood, we have neuroplasticity. We have the ability to rewire the parts of our brains that have physically changed because of trauma earlier in life. So what I do with these dogs is simply try to give them a chance to reset. I give them a sense of really, really deep safety. I give them a sense of control over their own lives, which is called agency. And I give them the opportunity to feel like their decisions make a difference and bring good things to them. When you do that, you can actually begin to reverse all the negative effects that happen from generations designed to develop fearful, poor coping mechanisms, dysregulated threat assessment, and poor physical health. Again, just to finish up, remember these dogs not only have poor emotional and social support, they have lousy food, no veterinary care, no physical support as well. All of these things actually shorten their lives and decrease their ability to have normal brain function. So I try to help them reset and change their MOs. Thanks a lot for listening. Bye.